anybody can.
He should.
You start to attack
That Mr. Walker
legitimate arms.
to make
social media.
minutes and 50.
Suresh? Hang around.
Right.
get yourself kicked.
Good.
Sheehan, Candy citizens heard
that we have all
Councilmember Hinojosa Smith.
Ooh, what
inquired. Principal thank you for your time, and I
in certain
and then open
Smith, Neville, I believe that Frost will continue to be a great partner to the city. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Council, do you have any questions for Vanessa? Councilmember Nevels.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a quick question. So the 5% increase that you spoke of, is that pretty standard? I know I'm maybe asking for some historical information there, but is that pretty like a standard increase over a 5-year contract, or is that close to what we've done historically?
So it looks like from the 2015 to the 2020, there was an 18% decrease in fee, and that might have just been the way that the services we were using at that time versus the services this time, as the fees are based off of the actual usage.
Okay, very good. All right. Thank you.
Councilmember Matthew.
Thank you, Mayor. Excuse me, question for you.
Yes.
How much fees did we pay to Frost Bank last year?
So I have the quarter of this year, and I apologize for not having that specific number, but for the quarter going from March to May of this year, we paid $5,700 in fees. So we pay roughly around $1,800 to $1,900 in fees a month.
So 5% increase from $19,000. Is it 5% every year for the next 5 years? Or every year 5%, then the next year will be another 5%?
So the fees that we received were directly for what we're going to be the proposal for this term. I will have to double check on that to see if there are incremental fees, but I did not read that in the contract.
Okay. I understand from your memo, only one bank submitted the proposal.
Correct.
What is so restrictive that nobody else want to submit a proposal to us?
Well, from the four that viewed, 2 could not, because a bank has to have a main branch or a main office in the state of Texas to be able to submit. So that took 2 of them out of the running. From the one that viewed and didn't submit, it's only speculation as to why they didn't. They are quite smaller than Frost Bank, so that might have something to do with it.
I mean, we do have big banks like Capital Bank, Capital One, Bank of America, and other banks. Mm-hmm. They are not eligible to submit.
They are eligible to submit. I have a listing of banks that are like the top 100 banks in the state of Texas. So technically, all of these are able to submit. One thing about city government that's kind of unique is we're required to have collateral on all of our bank deposits above $250,000, and that's quite a financial burden for a lot of banks to hold the collateral that we need for the cash that we have in our bank. And so that's potentially a reason, is they don't want to have that burden on them to have that collateral on our behalf.
Since we've been doing business with them since '95, how do we know what other banks charge for city operations in other cities for a comparison purpose?
I'm not too sure of that. I can do some research to see what I can find and get that information to you on what I can see the most recent RFPs and responses were.
Thank you.
Councilmember Prem Kumar.
Thank you, Mayor. This is actually a general question. So for my personal account, banks are FDIC, or is it the same for city deposits?
That is correct. So we have that same $250,000.
Oh, it's only $250,000?
Yes, for the FDIC insurance is $250,000, and that's why we purchase collateral to make sure the rest of our funds stay safe in case of any type of bank emergency.
Okay, thank you.
Council, any other questions? Councilmember Nevels.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve Agenda Item 9.
Seconded by Councilmember Hill. All in favor?
Hinojosa Smith, Nevels, Prem Kumar, Matthew Hill, all in favor. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Don't forget to fetch the Mayor Pro Tem.
Oh, yes.
Unless you don't want to, sir.
While Ms. Tien is coming down, we're going to get the Mayor Pro Tem back.
Oh, we found him.
Kim, would you read item number 10 into the record for me, please?
I will. So consider approval of a maximum proposed tax rate of .444976 for the 2025 tax year, and to set the public hearing on the budget and proposed tax rate for the regularly scheduled City Council meeting on August 26, 2025 at 7:30 p.m. Good evening, Mayor and Council. This agenda item requests Council's consideration of approval of a maximum tax rate for the 2025 tax year, which is the 25-26 fiscal year. The item is proposing a maximum tax rate of 0.44976 cents. This is a record vote, which is required by Texas Tax Code Section 26.06, regardless of the tax rate being proposed. The record vote is required to be included in the notice of public hearing to vote on the tax rate publication, which must occur at least 5 days prior to the public hearing date. This notice will be published on August 16th in the Rambler and on August 15th in the Gazette. The public hearing and meeting to adopt the budget and tax rate is scheduled for August 26th. This item, again, is not a vote to adopt the tax rate. It's only a vote to publicize the tax rate, the maximum tax rate, which will not exceed 0.444976 cents. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Council, any questions? Councilmember Nevels.
Thank you, Mayor. Ms. Dean, question for you. I heard you say that you were going to publish the notice in the Rambler as well as the Gazette. The Rambler is our official newspaper. I don't know what the official term is, but it's our official newspaper, correct?
Correct. It is our paper of record.
Paper of record. Thank you.
Yes.
That's the word I was looking for. Why the addition to for the Gazette?
So we post in both papers that serve the community so that as many community members see it.
So we're not required to publish it in the Gazette, but we're trying to get as many eyes on it as possible.
That is correct.
Thank you very much.
Councilmember from Kamar.
Thank you, Mayor. Ms. Tehan, thank you and for your entire team for the wonderful work. I just want to take this time to talk to people who are probably listening in. This year, like I'm sure previous years, it was a tough decision for all of us to make. On one hand, the inflation and CPI has been driving more than 4% increase in expenses. So even if you try to deliver all of the services that the city provides to the citizens, at 4% inflation, the actual rate was going to be higher than what is being shown here. The city staff, to their credit, have tried to see that we need to reduce the cost of delivering the same value of services. So they've actually proposed about 7.5 heads decrease in this budget. So they're committing to deliver the same services that they've been providing the last few years at a lower cost is how I see it. So to that, I give you a lot of credit. And also for people who are watching, please understand that there's something called the Austin Gap. So even if we continue to take only the 3.499 of the MNO, the budget that we will have will be below the expenses for the next 5 to 7 years. And the city staff are committed to delivering the same services that you are getting today, and they're trying to do that through technology and automation. So I think the staff deserves a lot of credit. For those that complain that this tax rate is too high, please understand that we're trying to deliver the same level of services at a lower cost. Thank you.
Councilmember Hinojosa Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. I actually just wanted to say thank you to you and your staff for all the work and the time and the effort and the commitment that y'all put into this entire process, and the fact that you guys come just so prepared for all our questions that come in every direction possible and with alternatives to things that we might be thinking about and just being 10 steps ahead of us sometimes. So anyway, I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Matthew.
Thank you, Mayor. I also want to echo that. Thank you for your hard work and your entire staff. The tax rate that you have in your memo is 0.444976. What was the approved tax rate from last year's budget?
So last year's tax rate was 0.458632.
Okay. This tax rate is with the understanding 3.499 percentage will be increased, right?
So it's not the tax rate that is increased, the 3.499, it's the revenue.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilmember, Mayor Pro Tem Carroll.
Thank you, Mayor. I was going to move to approve item number 10.
Go right ahead.
I move to approve item number 10.
Thank you. Seconded by Councilmember Nevels. All in favor?
Hinojosa Smith, Carroll, Nevels, Prem Kumar, Matthew, and Hill, all in favor. Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Item number 11 is a public hearing, so I'll open the public hearing, and this is to receive public comment on the proposed 25-26 budget for the Coppell Crime Control and Prevention District. Ms. Tien.
Yes. Thank you, Mayor and Council. Again, this evening we are holding the public hearing on the Crime Control and Prevention District fiscal year 26 proposed budget that Council is required to hold as the governing body. Specifically, Chapter 363 of the Local Government Code states that the governing body that created the Crime Control Prevention District shall hold a public hearing on the budget adopted by the Crime Control Board. The Crime Control Board, which is made up of the 7 voting members of the City Council, did hold a public hearing on June 23rd of 2025. No citizens signed up to speak. The public hearing was closed, and the board approved the proposed budget with one change. Staff was directed to remove the reimbursement by the Coppell Independent School District for the SRO program. And so before I present the Crime Control fiscal year 26 proposed budget, I did want to provide some background to you. First, the Crime Control and Prevention District is a special purpose tax district created and governed by Texas Local Government Code 363. It's designed to provide crime prevention programs and services to the community. Funding for the district is through the 0.25% sales tax that was approved by voters. Next, as a special purpose district, the Crime Control and Prevention District is authorized only if the district and the sales tax are approved by a majority of the qualified voters. The sales tax for CCPD was originally passed in November of 2007, and sales tax collection began in April of 2008. The initial authorized period was for 5 years, which would have expired in 2013. But then in November of 2011, the sales tax was reauthorized for a 10-year period this time, with a new expiration date of 2023. The 0.25% sales tax for crime reduction programs was once again reauthorized for another 10-year period by voters in November of 2022. So the reauthorization now expires in 2033, and the next time this will come to a vote is in November of 2032. And actually, the last time, let me see, the sales tax is restricted or committed to expenditures for a specific purpose, and because of that, we do show it in the city's financial statements and in their budget as a special revenue fund. So now that you have some background, I will share with you the proposed budget. So I'm going to begin just with a few highlights. This slide shows the revenues and expenditures of the Crime Control and Prevention District. First, I'd just like to share that the sales tax is continuing to be budgeted as if the Rule 3.334 is in effect. The budget, as I mentioned, includes the cost of the SROs with no reimbursement from the school district. And the budget continues the joint venture with neighboring cities to effectively and efficiently provide for E911 and jail services. And I'll point out where these areas are impacted in the items shown on this slide as I walk through the proposed budget. So beginning with revenues, which is the graph on the left, the total crime control and prevention budget revenues is about $4.3 million for the next fiscal year. Sales tax, which is the blue area of the chart, is the primary source of revenues for this fund and is estimated at about $4.1 million, or about 97% of total revenues of the fund. So as I mentioned, sales tax revenue is budgeted as if the rule is in effect, but it also includes a 5% increase over the original budget from last year. And we do that because we are anticipating more collections as a result of higher costs in the items that our businesses are selling. And so that leaves the remaining revenue as interest income, and that makes up about 3% of total revenues. So moving on to expenditures, which is the graph on the right, total crime control and prevention district expenditures are projected to be about $4.4 million for the next fiscal year. Expenditures include about $2.2 million for salary and benefits, and that is related to 14 SROs and 1 administrative compliance officer. And then the services category, which is the next largest category, which is represented by the gray area of the chart on the right, totals about $1.9 million, or about 43% of the total expenditure budget. This fiscal year, the 2026 proposed budget includes payments to the North Texas Emergency Communication Center for the E911 dispatch services, and this is that joint venture with the cities of Carrollton, Farmers Branch, and Addison. It also includes services that we're continuing the contract with the city of Grapevine to provide the jail service. And these are just 2 examples of cities working together to be good stewards of public funds through collaboration and sharing of the cost of these services. The services area also includes a reimbursement to the general fund for what we refer to as administrative services. The administrative services is to reimburse the general fund for services that are rendered by employees that are paid out of the general fund. For example, the Crime Control and Prevention District does not staff an HR staff. It doesn't have legal. It doesn't have an IT department, accounts payable. And so instead, it reimburses the general fund for those services. And then the last category that I'd like to mention is the transfer out category, and that's represented by the green slice of the pie, and it constitutes about $153,000, or 3% of the overall expenditures. And this transfer is a transfer to the Capital Replacement Fund for 1 year of useful life of the vehicles that are utilized by the SROs. And so, in summary, the proposed budgeted revenues for fiscal year 25 are estimated at about $4.3 million, and the expenditures are almost $4.4 million. And so this is the overview of the Crime Control and Prevention District proposed budget for fiscal year 25-26. The agenda item is the public hearing for the 25-26 proposed budget for the Crime Control and Prevention District, which the governing body that created the district is required by Chapter 363 of the Local Government Code to hold. The actual adoption of this budget, again, will occur with the adoption of the entire city budget, which is scheduled for your consideration of approval on August 26th. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions, and Chief Barton is also here to help me.
Thank you very much. This is a public hearing. We did not have any citizens signed up to speak. So, Council, do you have any questions for Ms. Tien or Chief Barton? Councilmember Matthew.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. Are we paying all the SROs salaries and benefits from CCPD account?
Yes.
And how many are there?
14.
Okay. What is the total cost?
The total budgeted cost is the $2.2 million.
Okay. The school was reimbursing us, but this year we are deciding, we are waiving that, so we are going to help out the school district by city picking up the full cost, which is the 2.2, correct? Correct.
Can I interject a bit more information? So the 2.2, and Chief, you can help me. The SROs don't only perform duties at the campuses. When the schools are closed, they're also performing other duties for the city, correct? So the 2.2, we are paying for those 14 people out of CCPD, but that would not, the school district would not pay half of that to us. They would only reimburse if you were asking them to for 50% of the salaries paid for when they were working for the school. Yeah. I just want to clarify that.
Thank you for the clarification, and I support it.
Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, I will accept a motion. Mayor Pro Tem Carroll.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to close the public hearing and approve item number 11.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Second by Councilmember Prem Kumar. All in favor?
Hinojosa Smith, Carroll, Nevels, Prem Kumar, Matthew, and Hill, all in favor. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Next week.
Item number 12 is a public hearing, so I'll open the public hearing and ask Mr. Steer to read that into the record.
Mayor, Council, good evening. This is item number 12 this evening. It is a public hearing to consider approval of S-1269LI, a special use permit to allow an indoor commercial amusement use in an office building located at 1199 South Beltline Road, Suite 160, at the northwest corner of Wrangler and South Beltline, at the request of Christopher Merrill, Golf Track, Coppell. In 1998, City Council approved the site plan for this 104,000 square foot building. The current request is in the northwest corner of the building, Suite 160. This is a special use permit request for an indoor commercial amusement use within an office building that's zoned light industrial. As described by the applicant, Golf Track is a membership-based indoor golf training and performance facility. The facility is equipped with advanced simulators, swing analysis tools, and a custom short game area for individual and group practice. Their primary goal is to create an optimized environment for golfers to improve their game year-round. The proposed hours of operation for private members with security access extend from 5 a.m. to 12 a.m., and for non-members, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. by appointment. The floor plan shows the proposed layout of the space, with 6 to 7 bays devoted to the golf simulators, an office, a water station, restrooms, a lounge, a teaching area, and club fitting area, and an area in the middle for short game practice. A parking analysis has been submitted. The current and proposed tenants, their areas, uses, and the parking required are outlined in the chart. There are currently a total of 370 parking spaces required and 371 parking spaces provided on site. This demonstrates that there will be sufficient parking to accommodate the proposed use. The various uses within the building have different parking needs, ranging from 1 parking space per 300 square feet for professional office and 1 parking space per 175 square feet, or per 175 square feet for medical office users, and the proposed use requires 1 parking space per 100 square feet. We sent out 3 letters within 200 feet as required by state law, 6 within 800 feet as a courtesy, and we didn't receive any responses in favor or opposition. The Planning and Zoning Commission unanimously recommended approval of S-1269LI with no outstanding conditions. That concludes my presentation, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. The applicant is in the audience as well.
Thank you very much. We did not have anybody signed up to speak for this one. Sorry, this is a public hearing, but we did not have anybody signed up to speak. So, council, do you have any questions for Mr. Steer or the applicant? Councilmember Hinojosa Smith.
Thank you. Mr. Steer, can you go back in the very beginning to the list of what will be inside? Like in the very beginning, maybe there. Because I thought you mentioned, oh, so teaching club fitting area, okay. Just so that I'm clear, what does the lounge entail? Like, is there food here, or is it only a facility for golfing, or can you help me understand just kind of
Yeah, I'd let the applicant answer
okay,
that question.
I'm just curious. Thank you. And in that same question, I'd love to know if there's other facilities like this.
For the record, my name is Chris Merrill.
Thank you.
I live at 351 Westlake Drive, Coppell, Texas.
Thank you.
To answer your question, so The teaching lounge area is more of like, it's the entrance door, right? It's a seating area that will have 2 TVs. The bays, as you see, 6 bays. The teaching and club fitting bay is actually a bay as well, but it has a little more space so a PGA teaching professional can teach in that arena. So no, it's not food serviced. That's why the hours operate from 5 to midnight, much like what a gym would. That way, before and after work, you can come and go to the facility. And it is a membership-based model, and so that way, that's why the hours are constructed the way they are.
Thank you. And the other question I had is, do you have any other facilities like this?
So it's a franchise
Are
it's a
there other-
franchise model, so yes, there is. There's currently 2 active in Kansas City, which is where Golf Track was founded. There are now 16 other franchises sold across the United States. And the one here in Coppell is one of them that are in current, once, if approved, will move to construction.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Any other questions?
That's mine to say. Any other questions, council? Thank you very much. When this came across our email, it was like, wow. So thank you very much for bringing it forward.
Yes, Mayor, and hopefully it can serve, Coppell only has but one golf course, and so hopefully it can serve a rapidly growing market.
All right. Council, any other questions? Seeing none, I will accept a motion. Councilmember Nevels.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to close the public hearing and approve agenda item 12 as presented.
Seconded by Councilmember Prem Kumar. All in favor?
Hinojosa Smith, Carroll, Nevels, Prem Kumar, Matthew, and Hill, all in favor, none opposed, motion carries.
Thank you very much. Item number 13 is a public hearing. So she's already up here. I will open the public hearing and ask Ms. Perone Boswell to read it into the record.
Item number 13 is a public hearing. Consider approval of PD 198 SF7 for Lot 23A to remove commercial district zoning and special use permit from the rear portion of the lot previously used as parking for the Dickey's Barbecue Restaurant on .35 acres of land located at 804 Bullock Drive at the request of the property owner, Mohammed Jafar Hanif. So good evening, Mayor and Council. The property that is being rezoned is the one outlined in yellow on the screen. It's Lot 23A within the North Lake Estates subdivision. It is one lot, but it has 2 zonings on it. It's residential in the front, outlined in yellow, and commercial in the back with the red. Previously, there was a house on the lot that was destroyed by a fire, and this lot has sat vacant ever since. So how did it become commercial in the back? Well, good question. In 1999, Dickey's Barbecue Restaurant was approved to be constructed on the property adjacent to the east, along the west side of Denton Tap Road. Their on-site parking does satisfy ordinance requirements. During that time, both the residential lot on Bullock and the Dickey's lot were owned by the same entity. In 2000, an SUP was approved to add additional overflow parking along the backside of 804 Bullock, the property outlined in red. The property was paved, additional parking spaces were added to serve the restaurant with a parking agreement. The lot on Bullock was sold to the current owner in 2023, and the Dickey's lot changed hands in 2021. According to the applicant who owns the lot on Bullock, the shared parking agreement is no longer in place. So the purpose of this request is to rezone the entire lot back to the base zoning SF7 in a PD to allow for new residence to be constructed and convert the overflow parking area back into a backyard space. Mr. Hanif, the current property owner of 804 Bullock, would like to construct a house on the property for his family to live in. As it relates to land use, the request for the single family is in keeping with the adjacent properties on Bullock Drive. As part of the changes, Mr. Hanif plans to demolish the existing paved parking area at the rear of the lot, and will install a 6-foot in height wooden fence along his property boundary, including adjacent to the commercially zoned property. The wood fence in this area is in lieu of a masonry wall, which is typically required between commercial and residential zoning. This fence is typically constructed by the commercial owner to provide privacy for the residential lot. Staff is in favor of this requested exception. The applicant will need to get a building permit to construct a house on the property. Again, because this is a zoning change request, we did send out letters, 19 within 200 feet as required by state law, another 88 as a courtesy. We did not receive any written responses. We did have one of the neighbors show up to the planning and zoning meeting with questions about the development, and they were ultimately in favor of a home being constructed there. So the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended unanimous approval of the request subject to the following conditions. One, that there may be additional comments during detailed building review. Two, PD conditions. A, to approve the wood fence in lieu of the brick wall adjacent to the commercially zoned property. B, to require the existing paved parking lot to be demolished prior to a building permit being issued. That is the end of my presentation. Available for questions, and the applicant is here as well.
Thank you very much. This is a public hearing, but no one signed up to speak. So, council, do you have any questions? Councilmember Nevels.
Thank you, Mayor. I just had a question about the rationale of the wood fence versus the masonry fence. Could you give me a little bit more detail or background about why that condition was added?
Sure. So that is one of the, I guess, exceptions that they're asking for. Typically, the masonry wall is put in place when the commercial development happens. In this instance, and typically it's there to protect the residential owner from the commercial activities. In this instance, the house is coming in after the fact, and so they are requesting an exception to not have to bear that cost to put in the wall. Because we can't go back to the commercial property owner and say, hey, can you put in a wall?
All right. Thank you for that background. I appreciate it.
Any other questions? Councilmember Prem Kumar.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a follow-up on Councilmember Neville's question. So whether it's 11 years ago or 20 years ago, Dickies would have had to put a masonry wall there, correct?
Yes, but they obviously went through the PD process to put in the parking lot at the rear, which necessitated leaving that open so that they could have that parking area.
I don't like it, but
Any other questions? Councilmember Matthew.
Yeah, thank you. I'm a little confused here. There is an existing house on 804, right?
No.
No.
There was a house, it burned down, and it's been vacant ever since. So he would like to come back and build a house on that lot.
Okay. And the rear side of the property is the commercial area. That is going to be demolished to make it a larger plot to build one single-family house.
Right, so it's all one lot currently. It's just that the back half was rezoned to allow for overflow parking for the Dickies. So the Dickies actually has enough parking per ordinance to cover all their parking needs. The owner of this property, he owns the whole thing, but now would like to build a house on it. And so he's asking to rezone that back portion back to residential to allow him to use the entire property.
Yeah, I got confused because the owner and applicant lives in Irving, Texas.
Correct.
Okay.
But he owns this lot and would like to build a house.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll accept a motion. Councilmember Prem Kumar.
thank you, Mayor. I'd like to close public hearing 13, along with the conditions stipulated by B&Z.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilmember Matthew. All in favor?
Hinojosa Smith, Carroll, Nevels, Prem Kumar, Matthew, and Hill, all in favor, motion carries.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, item number 14 is the city manager reports with project updates, future agendas, and direction from work session.
Thank you, Mayor. Have a few things to announce today. So the public hearings on the budget and tax rate, along with the vote on the budget and the tax rate, will be considered at the next city council meeting on August 26th. If you are unable to attend but have budget-related questions or comments, please email us at budgetinput@coppelltx.gov. Our Vision 2040 refresh process, the engagement process for that project is underway now. This is our citywide effort to gather community input and ensure that our long-term strategic plan continues to reflect the community's values, needs, and aspirations. There are multiple opportunities for you to participate. You can visit the Refresh website to complete a short survey or add your thoughts to the idea wall. Those who complete the survey are eligible to pick up a free Coppell t-shirt. You can host your own meeting with your own neighborhood or network with our new engagement opportunity, which is called Meeting in a Box. You can pick up all the materials to host that meeting at Town Center, the Cosby Library, and Life Safety Park. I've got a couple project updates. So Veterans Plaza, located just in the back here of Town Center. The contractor is currently working on their electrical and irrigation work. For the dog park, the contractor has completed the demolition and are currently constructing the perimeter fence and have begun the grading work for that project. The traffic signal at Freeport and Northwestern, which is a long-awaited traffic signal installation, the poles and the mast arms have been installed, and we will complete that installation starting next week. Magnolia Park Trail, the contractor is working to finish pouring the trail by the end of this week and will begin building the fence thereafter. And finally, the Woodridge Channel. This project is to repair the erosion in the channel in front of St. Joseph's Village along Sandy Lake, and the contractor will begin work on that project next week. That concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Item number 15 is the mayor and council reports on recent and upcoming events. Our boards and commissions application process is underway. Please participate in our local government and give back to the community by serving on one of our boards or commissions. The city is seeking passionate individuals to be part of these boards and commissions that help guide development, future needs, regulations, and more, all for Coppell. Applications are now open. More information is available on the city's website and social media. Just as a reminder, school starts tomorrow. A friendly reminder to our community, please be cautious and slow down in active school zones and be mindful of the increase in both pedestrian and vehicular traffic. We wish our educators, students, and parents the best of luck as they work toward another successful school year. All right, item number 16 are public service announcements concerning items of community interest with no council action or deliberation. Do we have any public service announcements? Councilmember Nevels.
Sorry, Mayor, you've been calling my name a lot tonight. Right, just a couple of public service announcements. Council had previously approved a safety rail for Denton Tap Road near Parkway on the northeast side of that intersection where the sidewalk is directly adjacent to the curb. I got an update from the city manager's office that even though that rail will not be ready at the start of school tomorrow, it should be installed by the beginning of September. So I just wanted to let parents know that may have any questions about that rail is coming. So, and then two other Coppell ISD updates that I think are relevant. Last night, Coppell ISD Board of Trustees voted to close the New Tech campus and move the New Tech program as a separate school within a school concept over to the main Coppell High School campus. So work will begin to get underway on that as soon as possible. And then just another note that there are some public meetings that are scheduled in the month of August to discuss potential closure of one or two Coppell ISD campuses. There is a series of 5 meetings at 5 specific campuses. I'm going to share those. Lakeside Elementary is on Thursday. Cottonwood Creek is going to be on August 18th. Mockingbird Elementary is going to be August 20th. Austin Elementary is going to be August 21st, and Town Center Elementary is going to be August 28th. All of those meetings will start at 5:30 at those campuses. So just wanted to make sure that everyone is aware of what's going on with Coppell ISD. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other public service announcements? Seeing none, we are going to recess from the regular session of the Coppell City Council and reconvene into work session in the first floor conference room so that Ms. Leach can educate us about our boards and commission selection process. The public is welcome to join us. I don't think so.
I do not. Not unless you would like to listen for your 40th plus board and commission process. Accept the challenge to stand out.
All right, we have a quorum present, so we're going to get started. This is item number 2B on work session. It's all yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm here today just to provide you a quick overview of the process that began yesterday related to boards and commissions. As y'all know, this is y'all's process, so you should not hear anything that is vastly new from last year. We got some good feedback from you all last year's for some of the changes, so we have carried a lot of that over to this year. So this is the application timeline. It began yesterday with applications opening up on the 11th. They will close on September 8th. After that point, that'll be kind of in our hands to prepare all of those applications then to hand off to you all as the council for your review. And for some of those boards, you know, you received a lot of applications. So for some of those, you may want to go through a vetting process to kind of cull the list on who you would like to invite in for interviews. Late September and early October is when we will walk through the actual interviews with the selected candidates. November 11th is when y'all will appoint those new members. And then on the 16th is when the orientation will happen for everybody that we're swearing in for this upcoming year. So that's just a snapshot on just timeline. Underscoring all of that is the marketing campaign throughout the entire process. Hannah and her team will be providing a lot of marketing, so on the support that they're going to provide, many of these outlets will look very familiar to you. Two pieces that I'd like to point out is the emails to our current and youth and adult volunteers. So one of the platforms that we leveraged last year to much success was our It's Better Impact software, which is what we use to communicate with all of our existing volunteers, and that was a huge success in terms of getting those opportunities out in front of people who are likely to volunteer. The other piece I'd like to highlight is we'll be getting some talking points to you all so that you can leverage your own networks within the community to get this word out to your social networks, because we don't know everybody in Coppell. So these are the boards that have expiring terms and vacancies. Essentially everything except for CRDC and the Special Ethics Legal Counsel Review Panel are on this list. That's a mouthful. BOA has an actual vacancy. We will actually be bringing a Planning and Zoning Commission vacancy to you at the upcoming meeting. We have a member who is moving out of Coppell. So there will actually be 2 boards with actual vacancies that we'll be filling for this upcoming term. On our youth applications, we have the 3 boards that have youth advisors. So we're really excited. This will be our 2nd year for all 3 of those boards to have youth advisors. So what do you need in order to be a qualified candidate? None of these requirements have changed from last year. The one thing from a process standpoint is the background checks. We will be, that's kind of like a post-offer screening. So once the council decides who you all would like to appoint to those boards, that's the point at which we will run those background checks. It is done by our employee experience team through a third-party vendor. It's the same screening that we do for pre-employment screenings for employees. From an interview perspective, Mayor Mays will be leading this process from a scheduling and coordination perspective. You all will be getting some communication from him regarding dates, and then the mayor will review that, assign the dates that you all are selecting to kind of that matrix of matching availability and all of that. After that, we will be notifying, so after the applicant submits their application, they will get a confirmation email that essentially says, thank you, here are the interview dates. So that just lets them know when the dates for interviews are gonna be. It's not a scheduling of my interview. Once we get to the point where you all decide who you would like to bring in, we will send them a second email that says, this is when you will be interviewing, the date and time. We will actually be beginning the interview process 1 week earlier than we did last year, and that is due to ICMA. And so we had to shift a little bit related to that from just a scheduling. We will have 2 nights with multiple boards interviewing at the same time, and we will schedule those so that they're not the 2 heaviest boards interviewing at the same time. And as in previous years, those interviews will be held on a first come, first served basis. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions. The one thing I do want to highlight, I know the discussion that this council had in November when you guys went through the process to do your final appointments. One of the recommendations that I heard from you guys was helping folks make sure that they get those confirmation emails, because people get a lot of emails into their email inboxes. Sometimes it goes to spam and junk, and I don't see those things. So we did add some language on kind of the application, like a checkbox. I'm certifying that this is the email address I would like to use. And then we've got a recommendation on, okay, also please add this email address to your contacts. So the default communication will be the email address. We are also looking at whether we can just almost, it's like the P&Z, the 200 feet is what we're required to do. The 800 feet is what we like to do. So we are looking at whether the system can send out text. So I don't know if we can use the existing system or we'd have to try something else, but the primary platform for all of the communication is going to be via email. And we've kind of put a couple things in place, hopefully, to avoid some of the issues that maybe we had last year.
Can you also do, I appreciate all those efforts, was curious also on like the receipt, the red receipt or whatever where you know that they have read it and then you get some sort of confirmation of that? You know what I'm talking
That
about?
is an IT question. I will have to follow up to see if we are able to do that through the system.
That
Like,
should, right. Usually through Outlook, yeah, you just click.
Yeah, no,
And don't get me wrong, I always go around it if I don't want them to know that I read it. That's another story. But they should click it and let us know that they read it. There are people trying to sell me stuff and I don't need them to know I read their email.
I'm going to answer, I think you both have to be on the same network Outlook for that to work.
Okay,
But let the IT department answer that one
okay,
for
yeah,
sure.
that's nice.
I had Mark.
I think
And then-
Dawn raised it.
Well,
Mark did too.
I had-
Mark was first.
I think Mark was up there.
I had you.
We're behind you.
So just a question, why do we require you be an eligible voter? Because doesn't that make non-citizens not eligible to serve on boards and commissions?
Yes.
I had the same concern, and I brought this up last year. I was told that the city charter is insisting on that, and I was going to bring that up. I think given the amount of foreign-born people that we have here, given how long it is taking for H1s to then become green card and citizen, if we really want our residents to be engaged, we need to do something about that.
You're correct, it is included in the charter in terms of what are the requirements for that, so that would require an amendment, a charter amendment to change.
Is that a referendum vote? We should have had Bob here.
Yeah. Let's get him on the phone.
We need you back.
I'll follow up with you all on process.
All right.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up.
I'm sorry, let's see, we had Don and then Bijou.
I missed the very first, but it didn't sound like anything's really changing in the process. Is that correct?
Correct.
Was that the, okay. I was
That is the
making sure that
overarching
was-
theme, yes.
You missed a whole bunch.
That's what I was just confirming that was the case.
Yes,
Pretty much
correct.
the same. Thank you.
So to his point, you will be getting an email from me asking which ones you want to interview for. And I'm not going to ask you to rank from 1 to 10. I'm going to ask for the top 3 because that's really all that matters anyway. Bijou?
Yeah, so Tracy, one of the surveys city conducted to the residents, asking them what is the preferred way of communication. On that deck that I saw, 35% said text message. I don't know if you remember that. So last year we had a few people miss their interviews because they went to the junk mail and they were not able to attend. When I asked about the text message, the response I received was, we will look into it. So what I'm hearing from you is we haven't looked at so far?
I am not sure if that can be the primary with the system that we are currently using. That is correct.
I thought with most carriers, you can basically do the telephone number and then it's at like att.net, and that works for multiple carriers, but not all.
And we have a text notification system
Right.
that we use for emergencies and that sort of thing. We use it for utility billing cutoffs and that sort of stuff. So we have something that would just require exporting that data into the Everbridge. So we're kind of looking to see what can be done there.
Brianna?
So I want to put the people who missed it last year, like I'm curious why they missed it, because like did it go to junk folder or whatever, maybe because I forgot if you did tell us. And I say that because the other part of that is if we are going to do text message, then it's only because I do privacy law. You have to get people to opt in and to tell you that it's okay to text them, and Jason would know that. Jonathan would know that, sorry. Or IT.
Josh.
Sorry, I'm thinking about my IT, because I've been on the phone with IT all day. I have locked myself out of every system today. We have to make sure that they opt in, I believe, and that we get their okay, and they give us, and then tell us what their preferred. That's why I was looking at the receipt, because I wondered if through Outlook was sending them an email, then we would know. But anyway, I also want to put some responsibility on the person of looking out for this, and that we've done everything we can on our end. I just want to be mindful, like, we can go in all different directions, but I don't think we can just text people without getting their okay.
So, my understanding on what happened last year is we had one individual that I was aware of that did not get his email notice on his interview. If there were others, I had not heard if there was more than the one individual that I'm aware of.
Okay, gotcha. And it didn't go to spam, or it didn't go to?
I think I don't know where that email went.
We
It was the email we had been using to communicate up to that point.
Gotcha.
What was our understanding of the people who were interviewing on that board, that there had been previous communication via this email, and then something happened with that particular message. And I'm not sure what happened, but that's my recollection.
Ramesh?
Thank you, Mayor. On the youth volunteers, if I remember correctly, it's juniors and seniors that are eligible, correct?
No, everything from 7th grade.
Oh,
on
okay,
up
okay.
to 11th.
And anecdotally, from some of the groups, I've been hearing that some seniors are not as plugged in because, they're more distracted with apps and all other stuff. So, if we are allowing 7th grade and up, I think that solves the problem.
Well, the challenge with the seniors is they only fulfill half the term if they're existing seniors now.
Right.
We appoint in January, and that goes through the calendar year.
Yes.
So that's why we have that set at 11th grade. So yes, understanding that piece of it, that would be the only challenge really that we need to consider around seniors.
Don?
Just another thought, and maybe actually get into privacy issues, but when the person's being interviewed, can that be posted on the website or anything? Is that a problem? Like, so they could go find it, if they wanted to see if they were on the list, or is there a privacy?
Well, we probably could, so those interviews first come, first serve. We could post when those interviews for Smart City Board is on this day, this time. Interviews for Park Board are this day, this time, so that at least you would know if I've been notified that I'm on Park Board, that I would know when I
was just
should
thinking
show
the people
up.
who actually,
Put a roster up, right?
yeah, just a roster of who was gonna be interviewed, but maybe they'd be across some privacy line.
Well, we do post it as part of the disclaimer, when you make this application, that this is subject to public disclosure. So the information that you are including here, you know that you are
I just thought that might
potentially,
The whole
that this could be
opt-in, yeah.
disclosed.
it might be a transparent way to at least see who's on the list to be interviewed. I mean, unless we thought that was crossing someone.
I'm kind of thinking in the exact same realm that you are, like trying to figure out how to get people. I love that idea. If there was a way that we could put, like, hey, here are the people that have been selected for interviews, I think that'd be fantastic. I may be a simple person, all right, but why can't, like, if we email people and we don't hear a response from them, why can't we just pick up the phone and call them, or send them a text message from like if the city secretary, this is normally their process, correct?
Yes, I hope this is my first and last presentation.
Yeah, I
on this
appreciate
topic
that,
to you all.
but I mean, like, for
Yeah,
lack
I can
of
help you.
for lack of better understanding, like, if you don't get an email, like, confirmation by a certain time, why can't the city secretary just pick up the phone and say, hey, you've been selected for an interview? And if they don't get the email and they don't respond to the call, and you send them a text message from a city phone that isn't like a broadcast type of message, I think it's pretty safe to say that they're probably not interested in interviewing. Like, I know it's kind of very back to basics, but
Well, and I don't know from a process, that may be one of those things that is not in the procedures that I have right here, that I am sure we didn't just send one single thing, because that's not how we operate for anything, so I am sure we didn't just do one.
But my point is, though, is
Best.
if there's an email problem and we only send email, Why can't we just go on the phone and call them? Or just send them a text message? And like,
I like the calling, like, just pick up the phone and call, right? Like,
I'm
not trying to put,
There's a lot of calls.
no, I'm just saying, like,
yeah, but
like,
Potentially.
this would only be like the people who, like, I'm sensitive to what Bijou said, right? Like, if somebody did have a technical problem with their email, and, you know, like, it just feels like sometimes technology is getting in the way of just picking up the phone and calling somebody, and just saying, hey, the committee thinks that you'd be really good for an interview, can you come on in? And like, I think that this would be a small handful of people, where you would catch most everyone. And I get, like, to your point, there does need to be some sort of responsibility on the other person's side, but I don't want a qualified candidate for a board or commission to get disqualified from a technicality.
and I hear you. And that happened with a job opportunity that I had where they sent me an email, I never saw it, and had it not been for them calling me and saying, hey, you didn't respond to your email, and I really thought you'd be a great candidate to apply, I wouldn't have known.
I don't know,
We've lost the art of talking.
maybe I'm looking at it
No, I like it.
I think she's got the message.
I'm just.
I like it, Neville.
We sent a letter.
So Kevin Neville would like to volunteer to call everybody.
What I would do is, I would be more than willing to call the people that, for my commission, or like my interviews, if somebody didn't respond, I'd be happy to call them.
I would too.
Pick up that phone.
Anything else?
Multimodal.
Huh?
This could be
Multi-mode.
NHS or volunteer service hours.
All right. Anything else?
Nothing else.
Anybody have any other questions?
No,
I
sir.
had one, and so you have a group, you're, I don't know, doing Parks and Rec or planning and zoning, and you have 35 candidates for 3 positions. Do you interview all 35, or do you pre-screen down? I just wanna get it out so everybody understands.
Pre-screened,
Pre-screen.
Don wants to talk to everybody.
just like a
No.
job.
Pre-screened.
Last year, which was my first time, I was with Don and Kevin on 2 different things. We decided to invite everyone.
But that was your choice.
We didn't have 35.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the board that we served on, it was a smaller so we just figured, hey,
I mean, I understand if you have 3 or 4, but, you know, like, sometimes you do have 20.
We had 15 or something.
probably not that many. You're being generous there.
Maybe.
Okay,
Well, we
so
mentioned
the
that.
answer is you don't have to interview everybody if you don't want to.
It's actually a little bit of a disservice if you, especially if there's incumbents or you think it wastes a lot of time for on the other side also for someone. You know, if they really, there's just too many people to
And we
fill
do
too
interview
few
the
slots.
incumbents.
Yeah,
Okay.
we do.
Yes, we do interview the incumbents. That's changed over the years,
Yes, it
back
has.
and forth, but we
Right.
do interview the incumbents.
Yes, it has changed.
Yes.
Bob
Because it
Mahalik and I
should not be an automatic just because you have served that.
Right.
Bob and Mahalik and I got in trouble over that one. Okay. All right, anything else? All right, thank you very much. We'll go adjourn the meeting. Good evening once again. We have recessed from work session. The time is 9:11. We're reconvening into the Coppell City Council. And therefore, there being no further business before this council, we are adjourned at 9:11 p.m.